Hello, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Career IQ. I'm your host, Darryl Jackson of Patrice and Associates Recruiting. Today, my co-host, Chef Gary Kinsey, and I will be chatting about the Coach Prime effect in terms of how it relates to any business or organization. More about if you want to turn an organization from a failing one into one that's more conducive to producing better results, this is a great video to check out. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. So let's get into it. Hey, welcome. I'm Darryl Jackson.
And I'm Chef Gary Kinsey.
Today, we're going to be talking about the prime effect in business. This is not about football and sports, but how, a sport and how someone runs any type of organization, how they kind of relate to business. And so today, we're talking about Coach Prime. Even though he's having a lot of success far as at Colorado right now, and we see him being successful. He's already beat his roster from last year in terms of their record. And so, in terms of business, I kind of thought about how can we talk about this in business? How does it relate? So my question to Chef is, why do you think he is having so much success, and how can you apply this in your operations?
Structure. Structure is everything, and I believe that's what Coach Prime has around his team, his organization. He has structure, and I think that every business, every company, every small restaurant, whatever you're running, the organization. It should have structure. If you don't, everyone's going to come in and do what they want to do, and how they want to do it, and then it's no longer your organization. It's their organization, and it will be run the way they want it to run and not the way it was designed. So I believe that's the importance and about what Coach Prime is doing. He's designed a structure around his organization, and it's an all defense great plan. It's a great defense around his plan. You know what I mean? So.
And I think a lot of people who basically look at the whole program and it's almost like insanity. You don't like what he's doing, but if you in regards to insanity, they say if you do you understand? It's like you expecting to get something different from what you already doing, but there's no way that's going to happen. You have to change up your game plan, your approach, in order to get something different. And I think what I like about him is that he knew who he was bringing with him. His team. He knew that his team was behind him. He's been working with these winners for a long time, and so he knows them and the passion that he was looking for. And I think that's one of the things that stands out for me. What about you?
Well, people are used to what they're used to. But, when things aren't working, we know what happens. You do the same things all the time, you get the same results. So change must come. And now those results have changed because of the change. And people don't, it's hard to please people. I know that more than anybody. Don't matter what you do, don't matter what you post on the internet. It's not going to be for everybody. But I'm only seeking the people that it's relative to. If I'm marketing myself, I don't expect everyone to buy from me. I can only go after the people that it interests. Right. What Prime is doing, the people that interest will help him win. The people that think it needs changing need to be convinced.
Mm-hmm. And I think in the business, we look at all these resumes and stuff that comes our way, and you can put anything on a resume, right? It doesn't. I mean, you can make a resume look so pretty, and it can tell one of the best stories of your experience. But the thing is, the one thing it cannot tell is your passion for the job, right. Your hunger for the job. Are you the right person? Because I can put anything on there, but that doesn't mean I necessarily am hungry and passionate about what I do. It's just a story, in my thoughts. Right. And so, Chef, what do far as with new leaders that are coming in, because he's essentially is a new leader coming into a new organization.
Right.
So when you're coming into a new organization like that, what do you think you should do as a new leader coming into a new organization? What would you do? How
Well,
would you approach
you're
it?
coming in when you come into a new organization, just like you're coming into a new team, you got to figure out who is best for the positions and who will be placed in the positions. So, like we spoke about before, observing. You don't know that until you observe each person and see where they fit in and what position they're well at.
Yeah.
And I think we spoke about this, last on our last conference on our last meet, that when you put the right people in the right positions, they'll play their positions to the fullest. You can't put the umpire on third base. He's not going to play it like he plays umpire. You know what I mean? So,
Mm-hmm. And
but in
sometimes,
time, you can train them to do that.
yeah, and sometimes you find out they're in the wrong place. They have to learn
Right.
a new position that they're actually better at than the one they started at. And
Right.
I think a lot of times you get people. It reminds me of the book Good to Great by Jim Collins, where he talks about getting the right people on the bus. And then sometimes getting the right people on the bus means they may change seats on where they're going and then determine on where you want to go. And I think a lot of times when people they feel like the seat that they're in is the one they're destined for, as that, but it's not. They
Yeah.
then they find out when you move them, like, the best thing you could have did is put me in this position, because now I can play. I'm really good at this, whether it be in sales, whether it be cooking, whether it be meeting with clients or whatever the case may be. But everybody has an area where they excel, right?
Yeah.
So that's just my thought in regards to that.
And you're absolutely right. People, when you put people in seats and they're like, oh, you're right. I'm excelling more here. It only makes them and motivates them to want to pick another seat and another seat. Can I try that seat? Let me try
Mhm.
that seat. So, people grow when they find out that this is where you're good at.
Yeah,
You might be good over here too.
yeah, and the growth is good because it creates another tool for your toolbox, right? So it's like
Right.
now I got another skill I can add to my toolbox, and I'm now I can work just about anywhere because now I have something I can pull out at any time. You know, when I go to, one of the things I liked about how he did go to Colorado is that, he already had a plan. He know who he was bringing. And I think that's similar to a lot of people when they go to a new organization. They wait 30 days, they wait, whether it be 30, 60, 90 days, to kind of observe the lay of the land. And then they kind of, what they're looking for is to see what challenges are there. They're taking their notes. But what I would typically do is also turn around and go back and meet with the staff, meet with the team, the leaders, and kind of confirm my thoughts on where we are. Are these actually our challenges and why we've been doing this? Because sometimes you get to places, man, it'd be like, you ask them a question, why they do this? We've always done it that way. We've always done
Right.
it that way. But
Right.
why won't you try it this way? And this is the way we've always done it. And so I think they miss out on opportunities to learn new ways and new opportunities to or different approach to be successful. And those are things I think they should look at as well. So, and also I think they should look at, the person should work on developing an action plan, creating buy-in with the team, and then act upon those. What are your thoughts?
Change is important. Change is important, especially if what you're changing wasn't working the way it was. Again, it goes back to, do the same things all the time, get the same results. You know what I mean? If you've been getting the same results because you've been doing the same thing the way it's always been done, don't expect anything to change at the end. You know what I mean? Anything that changes at the end was luck. But when you change your strategies of doing things, you have the opportunity to win every time.
Mm-hmm.
And you might take some losses, but change from what someone else or how the program was designed before
Mm-hmm.
needs to be changed. And that's why leaders come in and they change things after observing, because they felt like they brought me in because everything's been the same with the old leader and nothing's changed. So it's gotta be changed in order for, profits to change, even people's moods of how they feel. You don't want to make something harder for someone. You want to make it easier. That way it works. If something is easy to someone, they can come in and perform that duty over and over again, consistently with no mistakes. So, change needs to happen
Well,
when something's not working.
Well, I like your point about there might be some losses, but if there's a loss, is that necessarily something wrong with the strategy because you had a loss?
Absolutely not. If not, if you were losing all the time.
That's true. One loss or two losses is not bad if you would lose all the time. That's very true.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean the strategy is wrong. Doesn't mean the strategy is wrong.
Right.
I think there are always going to be some hiccups, and I think people can over exaggerate an issue or what may have happened. And I think there's always something to be learned. I think a lot of people say there's a blessing in the lesson, right?
It's a blessing. Yeah. Blessing and a lesson.
That's a blessing and a lesson. So what about haters, man? So he's getting a lot of haters for, whether it be because he left an HBCU or whether because he's going to another college, whatever the case, it's another job, right? I don't want to get into all of that. But haters hate on a regular basis. It doesn't matter what organization, whether it's sports, whether it's business, whatever it may be. When you go into a new organization, you're going to always get haters when you're changing up a platform and program significantly, like he's doing. How do you deal with those haters?
Wow. You count them. You keep counting haters. I believe that haters are fans in disguise. And the more fans, haters you have, the better off you be. And if you have 10, don't stop until you get to 20 because you got it. Haters got to make sure they motivate you. They motivate. Haters motivate. You know
Okay.
what I mean? If it wasn't for haters, we wouldn't know that we're doing good enough. We wouldn't know where we're at in life.
True.
Haters motivate you to just have more haters. You need haters.
So
That means those are people that wanted you to stay down on their level. You got rid of them. So now they're on the ground cheering for you. Let them cheer any way they like to cheer. And if it's in the hate chants, let them chant hate. But at the end of the day, if no noise is being made about the work you're doing, you're not doing it
so
correctly.
so you saying use the haters like as a metric, like you're doing well because you got them? Come on,
Absolutely.
serious Chef,
People
come on.
listen, people don't hate on you for no reason. People just don't come outside and say, hey, I don't like what he's doing and how he's doing it. You know what I mean? When
Yeah,
you're indeed liking somebody else who's doing the same exact thing, sometimes it's not the way you're doing things. Sometimes it's the person. And then sometimes it's not the person, but the way you're doing things. Nobody has time to figure that all out. So you need the haters to keep on chanting it. And if they're chanting the same hate, then you're doing none of what they're saying is making sense to what you're doing. So it's got to be congratulations,
but Chef,
motivation.
but there's got to be something said about why they're hating, though, man. You know what I mean? Like, do you? I mean, if they're hating him, is he doing something wrong? It's got to be something he's doing wrong if they're hating on him.
So let's take it to the business sense. If
Okay.
you if you're inside of the business and you're making record numbers for the company and you got people hating on you, you know for a fact if you're making record numbers for the company, you're not doing anything wrong. But if their record and their numbers are not the same as yours, what are they? The definition of that could be a million things, but we'll just bundle it all down to hater.
Yeah.
You know what I
Okay.
mean? His numbers are good. His stats are good. What are they hating on? And you should have been hating before when it was all losses.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, a success. I mean, you're gonna have your successes. You're gonna have people who don't like change, even though change is inevitable. I think a lot of people just do not like change. Period. And
Right?
they fight it with every essence, every ounce of their being just to be like, I don't like it. And when you dig down deep, they can't even define why they don't like them or why they don't like any person that's coming into an organization when they're making positive change, you know. So I think this was a great opportunity for us to talk, great segment, my brother. Anything else you want to add?
I do. Real quick. If
Yeah.
we take it back to sports and compare Prime to anybody, let's take it back to Coach Carter. Not Coach Carter, I'm sorry, with Denzel Washington with the football. What was the name of that movie? Uh, but at the end of the day, the whole town, the whole city hated him, but he was winning. He was winning. And when he was winning, he was given if you don't win, if you lose one game, if you lose one game, you're fired. That's the
Hmm.
pressure.
Yeah.
That's haters telling him, we don't like your change. We don't like the way you moved our sons around in the game. You lose one game, you're out of here. Not to mention because you're black. But at
Yeah.
the end of the day, he didn't lose that one game. He was motivated by the same people who didn't want change, and he won every game. and he was accepted. Now his next year is going to be completely just wonderful because he did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
He did what the city challenged him to do as haters, motivators.
Well, motivating. You definitely don't want anybody to tell you what you can't do. I'm gonna prove you wrong, and so that definitely is a great deal of motivation for me. I hate for someone to tell me what I can't do when it comes to making things better. Totally agree. So great segment. Great episode, Chef. I appreciate you as always. Again, we're looking forward to some other great opportunities next time. You didn't cook this time, so next time hopefully you bring in going to be presenting a meal or something to us, a dish to us next time, right?
I will. We'll always talk about that before the segment. Sometimes it's hard to get yourself set up for cooking meals when you've been cleaning all day and out all morning. But yeah, it's something that we can set up in the next on every one of our meetings, so I'll know that I'm cooking. You know what I mean, and have it prepared.
Well, I appreciate you, Chef. I'm Darryl Jackson.
And I'm Chef Gary Kinsey.
All right. We appreciate you guys tuning in to us, and we'll see you on the next video. Hey, before you go, I need your help in growing this channel. If you enjoyed the video today and what you heard the contents of, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. And also comment on some of the topics you'd like to hear in the future. Again, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next video. Have a great one. Bye-bye.